Melissa Rivers is a New York Times best-selling author, award-winning producer, and co-creator of the wildly successful E-Fashion Police. With her
And
mother...
Red Carpet. And the Red
This
Carpet
is my
franchise.
intro. Thank you.
I like your sneakers.
Thanks. And she's also wearing my jacket now.
I am.
Very inconsiderate. Didn't even ask if I was cold. Anyway, with her mother, the late Joan Rivers.
Because you're hot, you're always warm.
Melissa is an entertainment journalist and correspondent, an equestrian, an Ivy League graduate. This sounds so waspy.
I know.
Who wrote this shit?
My life is very waspy,
and she's
especially
Jewish,
for a Jew.
A highly sought-after public speaker, and an animal advocate.
And mental health advocate.
Oh, animal advocate. Was you're into animals or something?
No, I mean, I did a lot for farm stuff.
Okay, yeah.
But more importantly, I'm a mental health
While I
advocate.
can talk about Melissa's professional achievements all day long, it is her role as a single parent to her son Cooper that Melissa calls her greatest accomplishment.
I do. That and our friendship.
Yes. Okay, so
I
Melissa,
like you being all serious. I've never seen you.
I was trying to do the Cokie Roberts,
but I've never seen you be like.
Well, now the seriousness is going to.
No,
leave.
but like with the way you were doing that, I can imagine you in a negotiation. Because normally you and I are like the class clowns.
Yes, Melissa and I are just fun. We bonded. Not going to say how, but we bonded at.
We can't say how.
We can't say how, but we bonded at an event. Okay, and moving on. Anyway, so let's start with your mom.
My mom.
Okay. Your mom was a legend.
Yes.
Millions and millions of people loved her.
Yes.
Do you like talking about her, or does it bother you?
Well, it doesn't bother me at all.
Meaning in the sense, do you rather talk about yourself, or do you find sometimes it's annoying that people want to talk about your mom?
No, it's amazing to me how many people she touched and that she reached.
Not to me. She was amazing.
I know. But to me, when people randomly, I'll be in the airport and someone will come up to me and be like, I met your mom once, and she, people, and she was this or that. It really sets an example of the importance of legacy and the importance of what you do in your professional life and in your personal life, of what you leave behind. And I think that's been a huge lesson for me in the fact that it wasn't just about for her being an entertainer. It was truly the warmth of who she was as a person.
What did she teach you about how to be successful in show business?
Blowjobs.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Now, what projects...
You know what? I was never Me Too'd.
Well,
my hashtag is why not Me Too?
The people like you or Kathy Griffin can't get Me Too'd because...
Did you really just put me in the category with Kathy Griffin?
I love Kathy Griffin. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Your mom and her didn't like each other, right?
I had some issues with her.
Right. Okay. What were
your... But really, you attractive wise, you put me in the same category as Kathy Griffin?
No, I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about funny.
Again, you put me in the same category.
I find her very funny. I've showed her plenty of houses. I find her very entertaining, and she always remembers my name, except for when she was a little offended when we there was an opening in the Gay and Lesbian Center in West Hollywood, and
you're gay?
Yeah, a little bit on Tuesdays, and
I didn't know.
Could we still be friends?
Of course, that makes me love you more.
Okay, just so anyway, so on the Gay and Lesbian Center, and the host for the evening was Lily Tomlin,
who is a phenomenal woman and an old friend of my mother's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh my God, they go back to.
Was she friends with Bruce Valanche too?
Friendly with Bruce Valanche. My mom and Lily went back to Greenwich Village together.
Oh, that's interesting. I like Lily. So Lily and Kathy are hosting the thingy, and the lady that the center was named after, the big donor, she was quite a bit older than Lily, and I went up to Lily and I gave her a big hug and I said, "It's so nice to see you. Thank you for opening the center, blah, blah, blah." I thought she was the person who started the center who was, 20 years her age, and she got really upset. I was like, so Kathy pulls me aside. She's like, you just basically told Lily Tomlin she's 90. And I really thought that was Lily Tomlin, so that didn't go over so well. So Kathy then forgave me because...
Which is great. And by the way, all said and done, Kathy has had amazing homes.
You know what?
She really,
she raked in the dough and saved it.
But not just that, she's picked architecturally very interesting houses.
She has picked
the wave one.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the one.
But the point is, there's a whole side of her that people don't see, that she is
Yeah.
very like I just think that's a very interesting facet of her personality that nobody sees.
Well, the one she bought in Baylor, I think, is better, but the first one she had, I didn't care for. It was,
Whether you liked it or not, it was a very interesting home.
well,
Anyway, I'm giving her a compliment, so
okay. I didn't like the house, but anyway.
I'm not asking if you liked it or
No,
not. I'm
can
just
you
saying
hand me
it's
your coffee? Just need a
no.
little
Yeah, we
sip
can
of that.
share our coffee.
Thank you. And thanks to my producer for offering to get me one.
Well,
Anyway,
that's how that works.
yeah. Well, all right. What projects are you working on right now? And what projects are most exciting? Because a lot of projects are not exciting, obviously.
I think the one I'm most excited about is my podcast,
Okay.
Group Text with Melissa Rivers, which you're going to be on.
Group text?
Yep.
How
Not
did you
group
come up with the
sex.
name? Oh, group sex.
No, Group Text.
Or group sext.
Group Text.
I like group sex.
When we have you on, we'll rename it for the day.
Can you and I have group sex?
You and I can group sext anytime.
Who would be in our group sex?
Oh, that's probably nobody would want to be in it but us.
I mean, that's rude.
But it's true.
Some people find me attractive.
I find you attractive, but who's really going to want to like
don't
sex
really
with
need-
us? By the way, we would get bored with anybody not being as like witty.
Yeah.
I think
I feel like your
other people
mom
would
could be in
bore
our
us.
group sex.
My mom's dead.
Well, oh.
We
Moving
can
on.
conjure her.
We can. That was
So
a
I'm-
great response. My mom's dead.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean she couldn't be in the. It would just be a little weird.
It would
like
be
Weekend
very
at
odd. We can get out the
Bernie's.
Ouija board.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about my podcast, Group
Mhm.
Text, and that's going very, very well. I'm having so much fun doing it. I got starting a new book, which I just.
What's it called?
It
Or
is
is the
called-
title not?
No, the title is Lies My Mother Told Me.
Which could be a lot.
It could be a lot. That's just a very funny book. So you guys can take that out. That's just gotten sold. And I have, of course, actually have 3 projects in development. And they're all going to go at the same time. And I'm going to have to pick one. And I don't want to because they're all my babies. And I love them all very, very much.
Do you like them more than your son?
I like nothing more than my baby, my son.
Come on, tell me the truth.
Oh my God, I love him so much.
How about cheesecake?
I love him so much that it annoys him.
Really?
Yeah. He's always like, Mom.
Shut the fuck up.
No, he doesn't say that because then I take away like his life.
Your mother had a foul mouth. You can't.
It doesn't matter. I mean, he can curse, but not at me.
That's not at you saying shut the fuck up. It's not like fuck you. Fuck you means I don't understand what's cursing. If I say what the fuck, that's not, or shut the fuck up. That's not cursing at you.
He can say what the fuck, but he can't say shut the fuck up. That's penalty of death.
That's pretty severe.
Well, I was raised. My parents were very, very strict, and I raised Cooper very much how I was raised.
Let's go to that for a second. Where did your mom grow up?
My mom grew up in New York, in Brooklyn.
Did she grow up with money or no?
In Larchmont, upper middle class.
Upper middle class. Because I always found it interesting in her movie, the documentary on her, or would you call it a document? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, documentary.
The documentary. I found it always interesting how she would always say, "I need to keep working to, for my lifestyle."
Yeah.
And usually, like people that were born in the Depression or things like that, always had that mentality. Clearly, your mom had a lot of money, so I always found that very interesting. That
because I think it was always right on the edge, and the lifestyle was so important, or to my grandmother, the facade of it, because my grandmother came from a very, very wealthy family that had to leave everything behind in Russia. So I think that very much came from her mother wanting the lifestyle back.
So when you say it was on the edge, what do you mean?
Meaning I think my grandmother pushed to the edge of what they could afford. My grandfather was a successful doctor.
Right.
But not.
Right. But she wanted.
They lived at a beautiful home in
She wanted
Larchmont.
to still be treated like a queen back in Russia.
Yes.
Interesting.
So I think my mother constantly was trying to live her mother's fantasy.
The lifestyle. Which I guess would be like a Russian queen. And your mom lived like that.
She sure has.
She looked like the czaress.
Yeah, she did.
Hopefully not the czar, the one that went in the basement.
That'd be
shot
bad.
Her.
That'd be bad. Can I have my coffee back?
Yeah. Sure.
Thanks.
Okay. What was her name?
My grandmother?
No, not your grandmother. Czar Nicholas's.
Alexandra.
Alexandra. Was not a good
Not
one.
a good ending.
Not a good ending, but a memorable one.
Yeah. We're still talking about it.
I know we're still talking about it. Most people watching this or listening probably don't even know what we're talking
Nope.
about. All right, tell me what the biggest. Well, tell me about your speaking career. What's the biggest money maker for you? Books, speaking,
Well, books you get in advance.
That's a good one. Always.
So that's a nice.
I wouldn't know because I've never been published. Go on.
But books you get in advance. The speaking is easy. You fly in, you do your speech, your talk, you get your check, you go home.
You ask for private and they never give it to you.
Flights?
Yeah.
Oh, no. But they do usually give you, what I do is what's called a buyout, which is they just give us the amount that the ticket would be. And then I can book it myself.
Miles.
And I use miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greatest scam on earth.
Do
it all the time.
Do the buyout.
Do the buyout.
Always.
Note. Buyout.
Buyout.
Yeah.
Always do the buyout.
Buyout's good. Anyway, so tell me, okay, so speaking is the answer.
It's great, but I think TV, of course, generates the most money.
Yeah. Those Hallmark movies, those are the ones that pay.
You know what?
I should be lucky to have a Hallmark movie.
I was looking at that and I'm thinking, damn, I could convert and do a Hallmark movie.
Lifetime and Hallmark are the biggest
By the
payers.
way, and you do like 7 of them back to back in like 3 months.
And you're set.
And there's an opening now because, Lori Loughlin.
That was good.
There's an opening.
My parents' neighbor is Jesse Metcalf, and I know he does a lot of those. And I can, by the way, very interesting guy. Whenever I go to my parents' house, he's always in the street with his shirt off. Which, by the way, I'm not complaining.
Bad thing.
But I always find it interesting that he's always in the street with his shirt off.
He's actually a nice guy, too.
Very nice.
But that is a little odd.
But I'm not complaining every time I talk to him. I'm more than happy to stand there. But I just find it very interesting. His shirt is... Well, first of all, why are you in the street?
Right.
And second of all, why is your shirt off?
Do you ask?
Not really, because I feel like if I ask, he'll realize that it's weird and he'll stop taking his shirt off.
And then it defeats the purpose of you going to see your parents.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, one time I did
You could walk up and say, dude, do I need to get you a shirt for Christmas? Is Hallmark not paying you?
That actually is, I should probably do that. Yeah. No, because then he'll wear the shirt. We don't want to do that because we want to look at him without the shirt.
True.
All right, so what's the biggest failure in your showbiz career?
Oh my God, the biggest failure. There's so many. It define failure.
I don't know. I didn't write this shit.
I think the biggest failure was a pilot that I shot for a talk show that didn't work. And I was just really uncomfortable in the format. It was very Ricky Lake-esque.
Hopefully before she got obese.
But it was right after her show launched. So she was thin.
Right. That was like during Mrs. Winterborn.
I don't know, Mr.
Remember she was in a movie with Shirley MacLaine? It was called Mrs. Winterborn.
Oh, yes. No, I'm talking about when she had her talk show.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember
so around
the
that
Ricky
same
Lake
time.
show.
Yeah. So I think...
What was they always go? Who?
Yeah.
No, that's Arsenio.
Hall.
What was her thing? Maybe she didn't have a thing.
I don't remember. Ricky.
Exactly.
Ricky.
Yeah.
So I think that trying to force myself into a box that was uncomfortable for me. And that's why I think it did not work, even though we shot a pilot and the network that I was doing it for wanted it to work. I think that was my biggest failure was getting into a space that I was not comfortable in.
Did somebody ever approach you about doing a show that you said, I don't want to do it, and then it became a big show, and you regret?
God. Probably. Everybody has those moments. People don't exactly offer me shit. I've never been. I don't know. I'm not offered anything ever.
What are you talking about?
I'm not.
You're like a legit celeb.
But everything I've done, I've created.
Oh, I thought you were saying like I'm a loser. They won't talk to me. But you're saying
no, I am a loser
them.
In the sense that nobody has ever offered me.
Well, but you create your own content, so who cares?
Yeah, but still.
Why do you think they think you're not saleable?
Yeah.
Or why?
I don't know.
Well, I think you're just as funny as your mom. So what would be the?
I don't know. I'm not perceived as saleable.
Well.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Huh. We have a professional in the corner over here.
I like that. I like the professional.
That's surprising to me.
Yeah.
Well,
but hopefully that'll change.
But well, what was your? I'm sure. Okay, so this is interesting. So clearly, you were very close with your mom. I'm sure you always had like conversations with her, like, "Why are you so saleable and I'm not?" What would her?
It was one of her great frustrations that I was never given credit for things that I had achieved, and to this day, I'm not.
And would she take that up with the networks or take that up with?
Yeah, but you're not going to change the public perception. It's very hard. And one of her great frustrations, and we used to talk about it, was that I did not get credit that I deserved.
And she would get the credit for it. Did she ever say?
All the time. All the time. We would do stuff and she'd be like, Don't give me the credit. Don't give me the credit. Don't give me the credit. And yet, I
And
think
it wasn't just to be a nice mom. It was she really was
believed it.
pissed that you weren't getting the credit.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, I guess if you look at it this way, it was a good thing and a bad thing that you were the daughter of
Oh,
such a
absolutely.
major celebrity.
But everything comes with pluses and minuses.
There's
Everything.
probably more pluses, though, if you think about it.
Well, I think there's pluses in the sense of that. Definitely more pluses. I mean, any parent, child, I mean, definitely more pluses.
Yeah.
And the people I got to meet and the worlds that I was exposed to and all that, and the experiences I had the privilege to have.
There's definitely more pluses.
And plus, I had an amazing relationship with my mother, and I talk about it very openly. It was a very complicated relationship.
When you say complicated, what do you mean by that?
Well, first of all, mothers and daughters, it can always be complicated.
Right.
And then you have a mother and daughter who work together.
Right.
And whose careers have became intrinsically entwined.
So fighting a lot?
There would definitely be arguments, and especially when I was producing Fashion Police, and she was my star, and I would have to say things like, "No."
Did you create it?
I was one of the creators of Fashion Police way back in the day, and the Red Carpet.
Why is it not on anymore? That was a great show.
I think, well, the network said it was too expensive. For
What's
the numbers.
expensive? It's you
because the
sit
talent,
on a stage. It's like
because all the talent was expensive. We had very expensive talent, including me at that point, because we're our contracts had all been so long, and you keep getting bumps up, up, up. I don't think they felt that it was getting the ratings that it needed to. Remember, I kept it on the air, hosting it for 2 years after my mom passed. It never was the juggernaut that it was when my mom. Of course not. Also, they felt the culture was changing, and it was right before the whole Me Too thing. So in a weird way, it worked because it would have been very hard to produce the show in that first year.
Let's go there for a second. Your mother would have been, I don't even know.
She would not have given a crap, and just would have been her, and she would have gotten away with it just like Dave Chappelle.
Well, I was going to say, yeah.
Because it was unapologetic, and here's the big difference.
But it would have, forget about that. She would have really been pissed, though. She would have been a part of her shtick. Where
it would have been like,
I'm
not allowed.
Ridiculous.
Right, I'm not allowed to say this.
I'm not allowed to say this.
But
this
that's
is
like
ridiculous.
Chappelle. That's like Chappelle. And that's how she would have gotten away with it.
I wonder are you happy she didn't see this, or are you sad that she didn't get to see the Me Too movement?
A little bit of both. Yes, because I think
it would have given her a lot of material to work with.
But also, I think that she would have liked to have seen a lot of people sort of be called out. On the other hand, I think it would have frustrated her creatively.
But also would have maybe, well, no, because like we just said, she wouldn't have.
But still, there still would have been.
There's certain things you can't touch.
It still
would
have been. But it would have
given, but that alone is material, being able to always say, oh, sorry, I can't go there.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday we filmed and there was the girl goes, I have celiac disease, and I go, I'm touching that one.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
There's so many things with that too.
So, okay, so how do you come into contact with people after
life?
After life, after Fashion Police was over, do you talk to those people? Do you know the other people on the show?
Well, I still, again, I just saw Margaret Cho yesterday.
She's so funny.
I just did her podcast
Is she lesbian?
yesterday. She's whatever warm body crosses her path.
So she's into bestiality too?
No, I don't think that far.
So,
but she was going on a second date with a woman, and they're going out on Christmas Eve.
She's going on a second date with a goat?
No. So she was going on a second date with a woman, and they were going out Christmas Eve, and we had a long talk about that she needed to have like a non-threatening committal kind of backup gift in case this woman showed up with something.
What?
Well, I'm like, it's a second date, but it's on Christmas Eve. So what if she shows up with like flowers or a candle, or just because it's the holiday? I said Margaret needed to have a backup gift for her just in case of that.
Right. What was the most awkward moment you had with a celebrity, like a run-in?
Oh, God, there's been so many.
Well, give me your top 3.
I don't know. There was one where Edie Falco yelled at me.
Why?
Because she didn't like what we said on Fashion Police.
What did you say?
I don't remember. I just remember she was really pissed off.
You didn't like her dress?
It was something like that. But again, my mother and I would get so frustrated because like these women are making, I'm just picking a number, like $20 million a year. and get all their clothes for free,
Right.
and we decide during award season we don't like one of their outfits,
It's like, go fuck yourself.
it's like, lighten the fuck up.
Seriously.
You know, to quote Stripes, lighten up, Francis.
Did your mom ever make a joke and be like, you got it for free anyway?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what is everyone bitch? Like, seriously, if you are that upset that we didn't like one dress you got for free because you are nominated for something and you're making how much money?
Right.
You need to check your priorities.
Well, okay, so we had Edie Falco. Who else?
I can't even. She was one of the scary ones. She was one of the ones that really upset me.
Well, what did she do? Did she write you some crazy email?
No, it
Send
was.
a
I
dead
think it
bird
was
to your
talked
house?
about like in People magazine or something
Oh.
like that. And I was really upset because it's exactly that. It's like, and then my mom. Then the joke was someone started. She got a stylist right after, and then looked phenomenal on the red carpet. So my mother's like, "Look, we did a public service."
We did.
So you know, that's the one that really stands out.
Did she say that on air?
Yeah,
Oh my god! So she talked about the fact that Edie Falco was really pissed.
yeah.
Okay.
But
What
by the way, and I think the frustration is it's always the people who you think are brilliant.
was the weirdest? Oh, good. We're good on time.
Oh yeah, look at us go.
What was we're
whipping through this
We're
shit.
whipping through this, but we got some good stuff. What was the weirdest celebrity encounter your mom had with somebody?
Oh,
I mean,
God,
I
I
guess
don't.
we don't have enough time for
I don't.
this
Yeah,
one,
I don't
but
even
maybe we
know.
should skip this question. Okay.
Oh, here's a good one. So my mom and I were on a flight from LA to New York, right? I can't
American
remember.
Airlines, I'm assuming.
Of course. Right after, I don't remember if it was the Globes or the Oscars, and a bunch of people were on the flight. And Sandra Bullock, who we adore, was on the flight.
She ain't playing private?
No, we were all like tons of us were all
You guys should have chipped in like the money and put it in a pot together.
Exactly.
Get a Gulfstream.
And this is before they did the pods on American. So it was the 2.
Right.
And a bunch of people are on the flight. And we had just shot Fashion Police and we're flying back east to do something. And we had said we didn't like the dress. We didn't like the dress. So we're sitting there
Ooh.
and she comes up and is like hugging and oh my God and chit chatting. And my mother and I are like,
Oh no.
oh fuck. Oh fuck. Like this is so not good. And it wasn't like it was before you could like I couldn't even get on my phone and be like, cut it out.
Right.
So we're sitting there for 5 hours going,
Oh shit, this is not going to be
this
good.
isn't good. This isn't good. And she was just chatty and lovely because she is.
Yeah.
And just like, my mom was just like, my mom literally was just like,
Shit her pants.
I don't know what to even say or do. Like, I feel so bad right now.
Well, you get off the plane, you don't have to see her again.
Exactly.
Right?
But that was an awkward moment.
QVC. Moolah. That was good, huh?
We've sold a lot of stuff.
That was good.
And the thing is, the company's still going, which is phenomenal.
Really?
My mom's been gone 5 years and then it's still on the air.
What kind of stuff are you guys hawking?
Jewelry, doll.
Jewelry doll. But so what? It's
Well, the president of our company was the same president as when my mom was there. He's taken over the on-air duties, David Dangle, and he is amazing. And we are oh so lucky to still be a part of the QVC family.
Do you go on ever?
I call in.
You call in?
I call in.
So what do you do when you call in?
Chat like there's a scheduled call in like of a specific piece of jewelry or
Do you
something.
ever want to go on?
There was a lot of talk of me starting to do that, but our shoppers, our fan base, had gotten very comfortable already with David because David had been subbing for my mom before she passed when my mom couldn't be there.
Right.
So he already had a relationship with our customers. And
Okay.
He's done a brilliant job.
What was the number one seller?
Well, always our B pin.
Not dildos?
No.
Oh.
No, we haven't gone into that market, but I'm thinking about
Bejeweled
it.
Dildos by Joan Rivers.
That would be brilliant. I will send that idea to David.
Send it to
And, we may have already run it up the flagpole.
and they
I don't know.
They said no.
No, I mean, it may have already gone to QVC. For all I know, they're in production.
Can you imagine? We'll just get the check. So what's the most, what product was the most?
That, and then we have a hair product that is amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Good Hair Day.
Good Hair Day. Interesting. Okay, so what made your mom such a good salesperson? Is that what we were
Energy.
talking about your mama? Doesn't that bother you in interviews?
Energy. No.
No?
Yeah, no. Well, I mean,
Aren't you like,
again,
why aren't we talking? Well, I mean, we keep going back
We
and
keep going
forth,
back
but
and
it's
forth,
so,
but
your
again-
mom was so entangled in your life.
Yeah, again, it reminds me of the legacy, not just I hope of my mother, but eventually of our whole family. And I think that's really important.
Do you think your son will get in the business?
Oh God, I don't know. Right now, I think he's majoring in
Screwing girls.
drinking beer and chasing girls.
Right.
He does have a lovely girlfriend, though.
Tell me about her.
She's very sweet. She's very sweet. What more could I ask for? She's very sweet, and she adores him.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's important.
yeah.
So
It's interesting to see that because this is his first real girlfriend, to see how he treats her, and that he treats her. He's lovely and respectful, and very much a gentleman and protective. And I think that's a lot. Let's see, like that's so nice to see that. Like I've raised a good man.
Joy.
You just skipped right over that.
I honestly wasn't even listening.
Of course you're not.
My ADD went out.
Yeah.
Joy in
Stay here.
2015. Come on, Ritalin.
Kick in.
2015.
Yes.
Joy.
Yes.
Tell me about the experience.
It was great. I mean, the opportunity to work with the director, with David O. Russell and Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper. I mean, how could I have possibly said no? And I was very much in charge of the whole thing. And I've been talking to David O. Russell about it for a while, and John Davis, the producer. And at first I was not going to do it.
Why?
It just felt too weird and too awkward.
Well, it felt weird and awkward.
Because it just felt weird and awkward.
Do you remember in Mommy Dearest when Joan Crawford was when the daughter
Yes,
Christina was played by Joan Crawford on the show?
yes.
But she's 80 years old.
Yeah. It was just so, and after a number of conversations with them and how it was going to work and what we were going to do, I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I think people said it came off really well. They talked about it in a lot of the reviews that it was a highlight. So I feel like I did it. It was about capturing the essence of my mother, not doing an imitation of my mother. And that was sort of the final decision for me. Was we were all very much on the same page. And again, the opportunity to work even for like 2 days with the people I got to work with. Come on, phenomenal.
Yeah.
I worked with 3 Oscar winners. Like,
did that rate well, that movie? I loved it.
It did what was me. I worked with 3 Oscar winners. Like,
have you been in any other movies?
Here and there, usually just playing me, someone on a red carpet. It's always like a stunt.
Right. Do you like acting?
I actually studied with Sandy Meisner.
Really?
Yeah, I studied with Sandy Meisner for a couple of years.
When you were
right out of college.
In your 20s?
Right out of college. I can actually act. Who knew?
There's a lot of things that you can do that obviously you don't get credit for and that people don't explore.
Right.
Well, you know that you have it. And your friends know you have it.
And by the way, that does not pay the mortgage.
For some reason, I have a feeling you're okay. For some reason, I have a feeling that you don't have a mortgage. Speaking of houses. Let's talk about houses.
Look at that segue.
Okay, good segue. So you sold your house in the Palisades more than 2 decades ago. What? That's
no,
wrong.
I had my house in the Palisades for more than 2 decades. I had my house in the Palisades for more than 2 decades.
So why'd you sell it?
It was just time. My mother passed. It was the house that was in the reality show. It was the house that Cooper, grew up in, and it's where my mother, like, her little guest suite was. And
why did she have a guest suite there?
Because
she didn't have a home in LA.
No, it was my home.
Oh, that's right.
So we had a beautiful guest suite for her. The old mother-in-law suite.
Right. I'm surprised she didn't get a bungalow at the Bel Air.
I am too, but that's okay.
Right.
But that was wonderful for Cooper because she was out here every week because of Fashion Police.
Was he close with us?
Very, very. Okay. When she died, it leveled him. It was like the death of a parent for him.
Really?
Yeah. He was very close with my mom. And that's because, and it was fabulous. She was out here once a week. So.
Who's Cooper's dad?
My ex-husband.
I don't know. I never heard about him. What does he do?
He is in the horse business. He rides, trains, buys, and sells show jumpers.
Oh.
And that's how we met.
I was going to say, because you
That's
are
how
an
we
equestrian.
met. That's how we met.
You
back
guys
in the
are
day.
cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we separated when Cooper was 9 months old.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Is he close with his dad?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
He has a good relationship with his father.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it. So you were only married for
3 years, 3.5. We were together a total of 9. Because
you never wanted to remarry after?
No one's asked. Now's your opportunity.
Well, let me ask you this. So
even though you're already married.
You have a boyfriend, no?
Right now, no.
You did have somebody, a
Yes, I
TV
lived with someone
executive.
I lived with someone for 4.5 years.
What was, is it,
I can't say his name.
we can't say his name. Okay. Anyway.
It was a rough separation.
Okay. I didn't realize. Okay. So bye him. Okay. So Cooper, does he want to get into acting?
No.
Okay.
No, he really vacillates a lot on what he wants to do. And it's so funny because he feels so much pressure. Like all of his friends are like, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And he feels so much pressure. I'm like, you do not need to make a decision. I was a history major. So there, I'm like, it doesn't matter. But I think in a lot of ways, it's a little bit like me where my offices are in the house, just like my parents' offices were in our house. And you almost kind of grow up over the shop. So I think in a lot of ways that'll sort of hit him like, this is kind of what we do. But I think he'll be more of an executive type.
Let's go back to real estate for a second.
Of course, what's interesting. So then I bought another house in the Palisades, but technically the address is Santa Monica.
Right.
But the front of the house is in Santa Monica. The
In the
back of the
yeah.
house is in the Palisades.
You should take the address of whatever city has lower property taxes.
That'd be Santa Monica.
So we should work on that. So tell me, why did you choose this house?
The property and the opportunity. I have almost an acre.
Okay.
And in the area where I am, that does not.
It's very dark there, isn't it?
Not my house.
Because Santa Monica Canyon is very dark sometimes.
But not where I am. It's really interesting. Like we're so on the outside of the canyon that it's not dark, and I can't stand dark houses.
Yeah.
But I got the opportunity to have almost an acre in Santa Monica Canyon. You grab it.
Yeah, you spent quite a bit of money on that house.
That doesn't exist. That kind of property.
Were you planning on spending that kind of money?
No, I was not.
You just fell in love with it?
I realized the opportunity, and then I also liked the house, and I saw what we could do if we remodeled it.
Right.
And that's what we did.
So your style, I'm assuming, is not like your mother's. Your mom's was very angapached over the top.
No.
And was fabulous.
Fabulous. Mine's very different. Mine's what do they call it now? Transitional?
I think that's dudes turning something.
You mean halfway through the process? They haven't transitioned. They're just transitional.
Oh.
No,
I thought that was something else. Okay,
yeah,
moving on.
No, it's definitely, there's a warmth, there's an ease, but yet still it's a comfortable elegance.
Okay. So now let's go into the heavy stuff. Your mom's death.
Yes.
We're good going there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I can't answer other than, everybody, I settled and.
Oh, I wasn't even going there, but
go ahead.
Was good settlement?
Yeah.
Lifestyle changing?
No.
Okay. So, first of all, what's it like having the shock of two parents die unexpectedly?
It's very.
And what was weirder for you, your mom or your father? For those in the audience that don't know, your dad killed himself.
Right.
When you were 18?
Mm-hmm. Just turning 18, right before I turned 18. No, I was 18.
What was more shocking?
19. God, you honestly can't compare the two. The only parallel is that you go to sleep and your life is one way and you wake up and your life is radically different. It literally, and that was the, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening again kind of moment.
Right.
This
is happening again.
How could I have gone to sleep and woken up with my father having killed himself? How could I have gone to sleep and woken up with my mother pretty much brain dead?
How did you find out that your dad killed himself?
Gavin DeBecker, who was our big security guy and also used to live in our guest house while I was growing up.
Gavin DeBecker used to have the Omega Group, and he was the alarm guy, security guy to everybody in town.
My parents were his third client, and he was very close with them. And he actually lived in our guest house for many, many years.
So Gavin DeBecker.
So Gavin got the call. I don't know why. I mean, and then he had to tell me. And then I had to tell my mother.
So why did he tell you first?
Because my mother was not home.
Where was she?
My mother, back in the day, I remember this is 87, had just had liposuction and was at Cedars because I used to keep you overnight.
That's right.
Yes.
Upstairs, 8th floor.
8th floor.
8th floor,
so
baby.
Gavin had it. So the call came in. Gavin got the call. Gavin told me, and then we had to drive over to Cedars.
Well, hold on. But before you could tell your mom, and you have to deal with this yourself. What are you thinking? Are you like catatonic? Are you crying? Are you in shock? Are
You're in
you
shock.
where? You probably remember where you were. Where were you?
In our library. We
On
had a very
Ambazac?
long, yeah, at Ambazac. So, and you know the house.
Very
So
well.
there's the front door, the side door, and the kitchen door. And from the side door, there's that long hallway that ends in the library. The
Mhm.
living room's within the library. And I came in the side door because I must have come down the back stairs. So I was there. And I remember seeing Gavin sitting in the library on the phone and going like this to me. I didn't know. So I'm like,
Who had called him?
someone in Philadelphia. I don't really remember. You know what I mean?
That found his body, you mean?
Yeah, the hotel or whomever it was.
He shot himself?
No, he overdosed.
So, and by the way, see, I have ADD, so I go to 1,000 different questions. What hotel was he staying in?
Four Seasons.
In Philadelphia.
Yep.
Which I've stayed in, by the way. It's a total shithole.
Well, it used to be very nice.
It has cottage cheese on the ceiling still.
It used to have an excellent brunch.
Really?
Yeah. Back in the day.
Anyway, going back.
So Gavin told me, but I remember that walk down the hallway.
Well, so, but you land in the library. He says, sit down. What is he?
Yeah.
And what are his words?
I honestly, it was just like, there's been a problem. Your father has passed away. You know, we need to go tell you. Like, and again, it was all, it all happened so fast and we had to get in the car and get to my mom.
Did he tell you how he passed away?
I don't remember. He must have. He must have that, or it's obvious he must have at some point. But we were sort of trying to beat the clock.
Before the press found out?
And my mom was also leaving the hospital to come home. So we were trying to get her before she left.
You didn't want to tell her at home?
Well, no, because then we would have crossed paths. And by the time we got to the hospital, it had leaked out in the press.
Oh, shit.
So it was one of those situations, like, it was like...
It did?
Yeah. So it was one of those situations where we had to, like, get us together and get her in the
So the two of you drove together?
So then Gavin drove us home.
You both drove to the hospital, though?
Gavin and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you go up there and people already are hearing about this. Your mother hasn't, though.
I don't know if people were hearing about it at that point, but I did catch her. Literally, they had her, like, in the wheelchair coming out of her room. And I remember going, go back in, go back in, go back in. And she's like, what? Oh, you came to get me. No, no, no. I'm like, no, go in, go in, go in, go in. And she's like, what's wrong? And I'll remember she was standing up and there was a chair. And I told her, and I watched her grab the chair for dear life and watched her entire hand turn white. She was clutching the chair so hard.
What was her response?
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Screaming?
We're not screamers.
Crying?
Again, shock.
So silence.
I just, oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God. I remember so distinctly her clutching this chair.
One of those chairs in the corner of the rooms in Cedars always?
Yeah.
The one for visitors?
Yeah, like clutching the chair and just watching her entire hand turn white.
Just the three of you in the room, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
No nurses, obviously. And at what point did she say what happened? Or what point did you guys...
I already said, he killed himself.
So you found out maybe on the ride over from
Yeah,
the
I
cabin.
must have.
Total shock, right?
Complete.
Out of the blue.
Not out of the blue. He had been suffering from depression.
And was he depressed over something in particular, or was it just genetic?
No, there had been a lot going on. The loss of the Fox show. My parents weren't getting along. There was a lot going on.
So they weren't getting along?
No.
Do you think they would have divorced?
No.
Interesting. So
they had their routine.
They had their shtick?
Mm-hmm.
How long are you guys in the room before...
Again, you're asking me questions that I don't remember.
Do you remember leaving the hospital?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm. I barely remember the funeral.
Really? Where was the funeral?
Wilshire Boulevard Temple.
Of course it was. Rabbi Magnon?
Uh-huh. No, Wolf.
Rabbi Wolf, that's right. I went to Hess Kramer. He was the rabbi of the...
Jew camp.
Jew camp, of course.
Some people go to band camp. You went to Jew camp.
Unfortunately, it's washed away. Do you know
yeah,
the
I went
fires?
to tennis camp.
Okay, so how long did that take? Well, obviously you don't recover from it, but how long? Do you have a little bit more time?
Yes.
Okay.
For
So-
you, doll?
Thank you. So, all right, now let's move on to your mom's death.
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, what's more traumatic, do you think?
so vastly different. I can't say one was more traumatic than the other because they were very, very different. The commonality was the suddenness.
So you're at home one night, I'm assuming.
Morning. Yeah, I wake up
You
and
wake
the
up.
phone, I'm getting ready and the phone's ringing and I pick it up and it was my mom's assistant. And she says to me, your mother stopped breathing. And I'm like, what?
This was your mom's assistant of many, many years,
Yeah.
right? What
And I
was her
knew
name?
Jocelyn. And I talked to my mom the night before. So I knew she was having the endoscopy. And thank God we talked the night before and we had a hilarious conversation. And I
What'd
knew
you guys talk about?
a million different things, mutual friends, this, work, blah, blah, blah. And she was very anxious because she'd been having tremendous throat issues and she was worried that they were going to find cancer.
Interesting.
And she's like, I just have a really bad feeling.
We probably never found out.
There wasn't.
There wasn't?
No. But it was interesting. And then I get this call. I was already up and it all kind of went from there.
And did you say, what do you mean she's not
Well, of
breathing?
course I said that.
And so what was, did you say, who called you and said, you need to get on a flight right
I knew immediately. Like it was obvious I needed.
clearly-
She said we're on our way to Mount Sinai. Yeah, I said, is she breathing again? She's like, kind of like it was all so fast. And obviously I needed to get on a plane to New York.
She was with your mom or
Yeah.
she was at the house?
No, she was with my mom. And obviously it was very obvious I needed to get to New York immediately.
Clearly you're incapable to call American Airlines. So what do?
I called my assistant and she's got on, and then I couldn't reach her. I guess she was like in the shower or something. So I called another assistant that worked with us and they called the travel agent. I mean, like literally it was like the wheels were in motion. Cooper was on his way to school. It was in his carpool that we were driving that day. My nanny was driving that day. I said, drop the kids off, turn around and bring Cooper back. We're going to New York. I threw some stuff in a carry-on and threw Cooper's stuff together and somehow American found room for us. And it was like a group of like 1, 2, 3, 4 of us, 4 or 5 of us. And I don't know how they did it, but they got us all on a flight.
Well, your mom was, diverting for a second, was like
one of their biggest
one
customers.
of their biggest customers.
But I don't know how they managed to find 5 seats in literally on an hour's notice, all on the same flight.
They probably delayed the flight even.
I don't know who they bumped,
Right.
but to get 5 of us on an
seriously.
LA JFK flight.
So, well, amazing. But anyway, so you guys are in the airport. Like now, it's get there before the press find out.
Press already knew. We were circling the airport for a while with the American people trying to figure out how to get me into the airport.
Did the press know before you knew?
They knew simultaneously because I got a call from a friend at an outlet saying, "What is going on?"
Were you like, I can't talk right now?
I was like, I don't even know. Like he knew more than I did.
Kind of strange that he would call you. That's not really like appropriate, or is it?
He's doing his job.
I know, but you don't call someone.
No, but and the thing was, I'm like, he knew more than I knew, and so he dropped he put the friendship in front of the job and started helping me.
That's sweet.
And was like, I'm like, I need information. I need this. I need that. I need help.
Isn't that crazy to get information before you can get it from doctors? You get it from the press.
Yeah.
And they find out because it's leaked to them.
They're listening to the scanners.
Oh, from the ambulances. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't figure that one out.
Yeah.
So you're now on a flight, which is kind of crazy because when you're in a flight, you're 5 hours, you're disconnected from the world. So,
but we were constantly texting and emailing with the assistants in New York trying to get updates.
And that's interesting because usually you don't have Wi-Fi when you're.
But we already had. There was already. Remember, it was 5 years ago. They already had the go-go and stuff in the planes.
Right. So by the time you land, she's still alive, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Maybe not
on life support.
On life support. And did you know that when you landed, she was on life support?
Yeah.
And you found out she was on life support. That's kind of when you know that's it. So.
Well, you know that it's really bad.
You're just like flipping out.
Yeah, but again, someone has to stay calm and someone has to be the adult and someone has to make the decisions. And suddenly,
that's you.
It was me. And suddenly I'm the head of the business. Suddenly I'm the head of the family. Suddenly I'm the head of all these things and having to make decisions, whether they be immediate business decisions. We had multiple plans in place depending on outcomes. You have
What do you
to,
mean multiple plans?
if she, we had to cancel a bunch of performances, obviously. But then there was is she going to die? Is she going to wake up but be permanently impaired? Or is she going to be able to be fine, after some recovery and go back to work? So you're trying to make, and everyone suddenly starts calling saying, well, is she going to, what's going on? And this one and that one, she had a whole tour booked that she was getting ready to leave for, all through the UK, Ireland, and Scotland. So suddenly we're trying to manage everything and say, look, they're like, well, what do we do? We're like, let's just put it on hold because she'd want to redo the date. I mean, and QVC and 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 everything is, and all of her club dates. And suddenly somebody we had to have all these contingency plans within 24 hours because everybody's calling.
So,
Sorry. Acid reflux.
so you get off the plane, and what's going on?
It's just crazy. I get picked up in a private bay in the airport.
Bay?
They took us through the back of JFK and like a shipping, like a cargo bay.
Right.
So they took us out that way, like a private
Right.
area. And we got taken to the hospital. They deployed a second car to go to the entrance where the press was and took us in the back.
They always do that.
Yeah.
So you go in and you go up the elevator,
Mm-hmm.
and what do you see?
Gavin DeBecker.
Of course, always there. He was in New York, or he flew there?
I think he was in upstate New York.
Interesting. Okay, and what, he gives you a big hug, I'm assuming.
Of course.
And he goes, do you want to go see your mom?
Well, and at that point we had security all over the floor. My mom's assistants were there. The one had already met me downstairs. And so I got Cooper settled in the I want to say the green room, but in the area that they had sort of blocked off for us. And I went in and started meeting with the doctors, dealing with everything. And you just
What's the first thing you see when you see your mom?
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
There's certain things that.
Is this the first interview you've ever done talking
No.
about?
No, but there's certain
your
things.
Experience?
No, there's certain things and certain details that aren't appropriate to discuss, just like I know her last words, and that is not for public consumption.
Not in the hospital. You mean to you?
Well, my last phone call, but what she had actually said
yeah.
before her procedure.
Oh, yeah. So,
but again, there's just stuff like nobody, the hard thing is when you're in that kind of a critical care unit, especially with brain injury, everybody is dealing with the same thing. And it becomes a very much a community of everybody who's going through the same thing at the same time.
You're talking with other family members going through all this.
So
in the
everyone's
hallways.
kind of in it strangely together and being happy and sad with people's little tiny victories or setbacks. And I remember one of the most amazing things was they had given us a private area, like this conference room that I basically lived in. They put in like recliners and all that, and then they gave me a room like on their fancy floor to like shower, change, sleep if I needed to. And the rest of the people were in the normal waiting area, and people were sending us so much food and all these things. So I would always take it and put it in there for them because you just you're there 24/7. You get to know these people. And at one point, someone came out and they were talking to me, and we love your mom so much. And the grandmother came out, and she did not speak a lot of English, and they asked if they could pray with me. And they stood in a circle and they prayed and the whole thing. And the grandmother, the woman, gave me her rosary and her Bible. I still have that.
Do you really?
Yeah.
How interesting.
How lovely. And she's in there with, they're all have a relative in the same situation, and yet they took the time out.
Do you think she knew who your mom was?
Yeah, they knew. But how it becomes this really interesting community. And you're there for everybody's setbacks and little victories.
So, how long was your mom in the hospital?
I think it was 5 days.
5 days?
6 days.
Felt like eternity.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Mm-hmm. We decided to take her off life support, and
There was no going back.
No.
And your mom probably would not have wanted to stay.
Oh God, no.
Well, don't forget there was
Sonny Von Bulow.
Sonny Von Bulow and Hugh Getcliffe. Oh, no, actually not Hugh Getcliffe, but Sonny Von Bulow was
Sonny Von Bulow
getting her nails and hair done.
every week.
We know he killed her.
Allegedly.
Klaus.
Klaus.
Is he still alive?
No, he passed away, I think, this year.
He was living in London, right?
Yeah.
Do you think he walked away with all that money or no?
Yeah, well, the kids did more than anybody, but yeah.
What did the Von Bulows do? Do you remember?
Well, no, I don't remember.
Such a good movie with Glenn Close. What was it?
Jeremy
Irons.
Jeremy Irons. It was oh God, it was so good.
It was Beyond,
That home in Newport.
which I think is one of those houses that are open on the tours.
Yes.
Rose Hall or whatever. What was it called?
Reversal of Fortune.
Reversal of Fortune. Oh, so good. Beyond.
So good. Are you watching The Crown?
I love any 1980s movie about money and death and murder. Just why did they make such good movies in the 80s?
I don't know, Scarface.
They're just like not
Michelle
good
Pfeiffer
anymore.
comes down that elevator.
So how long did it take you to pick up the pieces and move on? Not move on, but meaning like get your life in order.
It takes time. It definitely takes time. And my immediate focus was my son, who was leveled. And I didn't have the luxury of falling apart. I had to get a show back on the air. I had to deal with business, and my son looked at me and said, "Nothing will ever be good again."
Mm.
And I looked at him and I said, "That's not true. Things will never be the same, but they will be good again." So I think I had to be so focused on so many things that it took a while for me to fall apart. I did not have the luxury of doing so.
Where's your mom buried?
She's not. She's cremated.
Was that what you wanted?
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Most Jews don't want that.
No, my dad was cremated also. And then I gave a lot of my mom's friends wanted ashes. So I spread her out, and then we scattered her about in all of her favorite places.
Like Bergdorf's?
Yep.
Did you really?
Yep.
That was like literally a joke. It just came off the top of my head. So wait, okay. Well, where in Bergdorf's?
Top.
Like on the carpet?
It's wood floor.
Oh my Lord Jesus.
Joe Allen, Sarah Beth, in her old apartment in my old house. Some friends took her to London. She has a friend that
Did
took
she
her
fly
to Paris.
first?
Yeah, friends took her to Paris.
Oh, good. I hopefully on the Concorde.
Yeah, she's all over the world.
She is all over New York.
She's in Mexico.
Oh, Cabo?
Punta Amida in the house we used to rent.
What about Avenue Montana? Is she in any of the stores?
Well, a friend took her to
Dior?
to Paris.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Did they see any shows?
No, but I did put her a little bit in a couple of the theaters.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. She's all over.
Oh, I'm so happy. Even in death, she's still living the life that she always loved.
Oh, yeah.
And you took her in a suitcase?
Well, it's not that big. It's,
Well,
I scoop a little into a
I was expecting
baggie.
a Louis Vuitton.
No, I scooped a little into a baggie. And
Right. And then, of course, you kept for yourself.
Yes.
Is it like in the movies on a mantle?
No, it's just in a bag.
In a beautiful gold?
No, it's just very quietly placed somewhere.
I like that. All right. So, on a final note, what can we talk about that's happy?
What can we talk about happy? But no, you and I always have fun.
We do.
Oh, you know what we can talk about? Our what we do when we go to Craig's. How we pull over so I can get in your car.
Okay, we're not supposed to talk about that, but now that you spilled the beans,
it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Whenever we go to a place that there's going to be paparazzi,
this is mortifying.
Josh makes us meet before we get there, so I can get in his car so we can arrive together.
And then the worst is when we go in and nobody takes our picture. But she always goes, "Don't worry, there's always the exit."
And every time we
leave, they catch us and and we pretend we're like, "Oh my God, please. No, get the cameras away. We're just trying to enjoy our evening.
Yeah.
No, please interview us." It's mortifying, and I cannot believe you just talked about this.
It's not mortifying, but the best is they always get us on the way out.
Ugh. Bitch.
It's always never on the way in.
This
It's
is
always on the
mortifying.
way.
You know they're not going to take our photographs anymore now.
Who cares? Yes, they are.
Story of
If they
our
think they
lives.
can make a buck on it,
But they never do.
that's not true.
Do you think they make money on our phone? I don't think so.
I
Although
know they make some money
I
on
was
mine.
so pissed the other way.
I know they make some money on
Well,
mine.
hold on. The last couple days, a couple weeks ago, we had dinner at Craig's, and we went out to valet, and camera wasn't there. I go back in to take a shit, and of course, Beth texts me on the phone. She's like, "You just missed it. She was on the cameras, blah blah blah." And I'm sitting on the toilet in Craig's while she's texting. I was like, "Of course, this
Yep.
only happens to me."
Well, Jews and their stomach issues.
Like, ridiculous.
It is.
On that note, I
love
adore you.
you.
I love you.
I love you.
You
too.
are the cutest.
Oh,
This
not
has
as cute
been-
as you.
Mm,
But you're married and I'm not. So what does that say?
we could bring you into our relationship
Do you promise?
if you really want to have gay sex. Sure.
No.
Do you know a lot of girls are into gay sex, like watching gay porn?
Really?
Isn't that weird?
I don't know. That is kind of odd.
Well, if you think about it, it's like straight dudes love lesbian porn. Like, why wouldn't you want to see two hot dudes fucking?
I don't know.
Yeah, probably not fucking each other.
No,
yeah. Oh, okay.
And on that note,
On that note, anyway, guys, it's been fun. This has been a great interview. I adore you. I love you. You're the cutest. And
how can they find me? They can download my podcast,
Yeah, how
Group
can they
Text with
find you?
Melissa Rivers. It's on iTunes. I am on Instagram, Melissa Rivers Official.
official.
And I'm on Twitter and Facebook.
And you can find her at Craig's,
but only with you.
but only with me. And
And the only time I even cross the 405 to like go to dinner
literally.
is when I go to dinner with
Which, by the way, like, why do you live on that side of the freeway? Who the hell wants to live there?
you. Who wants to hell is on your side?
There's like civilization and a life over here.
and we
like
have-
you have two restaurants.
And we have the ocean and
Yeah, that's nice.
health and
Health. Yeah.
hey, you know what? I like my side.
Maybe
you
you should
like
get
yours.
a little pied a terre on this
And
side
would you
of
happen
town.
to be the one to sell it to me?
I was thinking of sure, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. You get a beach house, I'll get a pied a terre.
Why don't you just live on the beach? I always understand if you're gonna schlep all the way that
Because
far.
it's too far. And you get stuck on PCH traffic.
It's been fun. I love you.
I love you.